This is going to be part 3 to the 051 Melly, Lord Dre, Homicide. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, what we have here is our part 3. We're going through the case, and like I said, excuse me for saying, I got some great feedback from my fellow Reddit homies. I appreciate every last one of y'all. I do this for Reddit, is where I come out of, so I appreciate all the feedback that comes back, and I will always give back to Reddit first and foremost. So excuse that on. So jumping into it, we have some more paperwork to go through where the attorney is speaking to Little Fun Size. I'm sorry about that pause. Tierra Smothers. She has been Mirandized by the detectives here, and she will have to actually give a statement in this interview room with her attorney. And here you can see it lasts for some time. Now, the statements that she gives is she complains actually after giving statements that she has lightheadedness and chest pain, and then she actually gets taken to the hospital for those symptoms before she actually becomes incarcerated. She gave her statement and then had these symptoms. Now, what we're looking at is the $7,500 bail payment receipt for. They subpoenaed this, the police, and you can see that Tierra Smothers signs it down there at the bottom. 7,500. Melly got 12,000 for the hit, and he paid 7,500 for the bond for his brother. Now, this is just really reports for the detectives, not really much to elaborate there. They are requesting records from, their alternate departments, the 911 calls and the transmissions. So they're getting all that stuff. They are requesting it as a sworn officer here. The victim shot in the covered gangway, 5043 South Drexel. Suspect possibly entered and fled northbound in a gray silver Pontiac. Gang conflict between Young Money and 46 Terror is the possible motive. Now, you have to remember that that motive is a motive that Melly promoted to one of the victim's girlfriends, excuse me, that him and the Lord Dre were being chased down the alley by 4-6. And that was the story that he told her to get her to call the police, because he inferred that Lord Dre was actually hit, or potentially hit, not actually hit, was potentially hit during that chasing down. Like, they ran down on both of them and Dre didn't get away, is how Melly made it seem, which is a believable story. I mean, if you think about it in the heat of the moment, you won't, go into a whole thought process about why that's happening. You're going to try to rescue your loved one, right? So Melly's story, what I would imagine, works. But that actually gets written up as a statement in the grand jury, in this paperwork. So we are in the know that is where the story originated from. And so if you watch my prior videos, you would be able to see that. Also, trying to stop saying noted to my fellow Reddit guy. Hope you're watching this, man. All right, and what we have here is the attorney for Yarmel Williams just filing paperwork for his client, saying that he advises his client to exercise his Fifth Amendment rights. And be sure to slow this video down. I'm doing a audio record over. So so they have a search warrant. The CPD requested a search warrant to go through the records for the cell phones of these people. And as we'll find out, they want any and all data not limited to or associated with the Apple iOS device bearing T-Mobile phone number belonging to DeAndre Smith. They want DeAndre Smith's phone records. They want his iCloud information. They want it all, So you got to be mindful when you're committing these crimes. They will subpoena Apple to get phone records to try to pin these cases together. And as we go on, we'll see the amount of effort that they went to. And you can see they also bypass your passcode so that they may search the iCloud and extract any data. And Apple will comply, with these requests per law. And so these are multiple phones that they are requesting subpoenas for. Verifying, yep, it's currently 21. Chalmers, DeAndre Smith had received text messages and phone calls in regards to meeting up with people and possible suspects in the awaiting Great Pontiac Grand Prix. Related that the phone number connected to that is Smith, DeAndre. So they're just tying DeAndre's phone together. I fan believe that Apple account attached to this T-Mobile cell phone number may contain records of calls made and received, subscriber and ownership information, voicemails, including voice contact, GPS data. They're getting the whole shebang for your phone when they subpoena these records. And now this actual search warrant is for a Sprint device. And so as we could see, it's not carrier specific. They can just subpoena whoever they want, and they will get these records. And then in this case, they actually use these records to tie together these people's location. Once I submit my fourth part for this video, we will go ahead and see that. But looking at this is part of the commission of which constitutes evidence thereof to get these subpoenas. Is they present these to a judge, and the judge takes a look at this and he reads through this, and he can sign off on it or choose not to. The murder was reported under that case number on June 13th. Detective Albert arrived at 5043 Drexel, observed a crime scene. The crime scene protected. Right, we got that. He was Detective DeAndre Smith in the slump gangway on the floor in a slump position. Excuse me for that. He was in a slump position at a mobile gas station located at 7601 State Street to meet Yarmel Williams. So they've pieced together enough evidence here that they know DeAndre was going to meet Melly. Now, they got all of this from phone records. They have phone record jail calls of 051 Woo and Melly and Fun Size, Tierra Smothers, conspiring to commit this murder, mind you. They related that DeAndre Smith and Yarmel Williams both entered the light or silver colored vehicle as passengers, but was unable to see who the driver was. But the driver further related that approximately 1 hour after she dropped the victim off, DeAndre Smith called her and related that he was still with Yarmel. Now, this is DeAndre Smith's girlfriend who drops him off. And she sees Melly at the car, but she can't see who's driving. Now they know who the driver was. It's Tierra Smothers here, who was driving the silver 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix bearing Illinois license plates. I learned that Tierra Smith was the driver of the vehicle through the Cook County Jail phone call records report of inmate 051 Woo. During the phone conversation at 3:45, Tierra Smothers related that she was driving in a vehicle with Yarmel 051 Melly and was at a gas station on 70-something Street, and they were picking him up right now. Talking about Lord Dre. Detective Albert knows him to be the victim, DeAndre Smith. See, so there you go. The jail calls is what really wrapped them up. I don't know how they were speaking so freely. I do know how, and I take that back. They assumed they were speaking in code, not saying anything about a specific murder, but, they were still inferring things. And I don't think, they thought that through in terms of hiding your language. I mean, you would have to probably come up with your own language to, obstruct that. So, yeah, here we are. They're talking in the background on the phone call with Melly and his brother. So Tierra called this 051 Woo called Tierra Smothers at 6:27. Tierra Smothers was with Melly. Tierra Smothers had DeAndre Golden, all right, and now we have 051 Woo on speakerphone, and Yarmel Williams was speaking in the background. And you see how sometimes they forget to redact these people's names. as informants and things of that nature. Um, and look at that in the radius, 10 minutes within the of the victim getting killed. They say that they're in a location close to where he is killed. So they're just piecing these things together. It's not, I don't feel like it's rocket science with this one. It's relating that he is still in the Grand Prix. So these phone conversations, that whole jail conversation is what led to these assuming arrests. Regards to Yarmel, police officer Mark Evans related that his confidential informant related that Yarmel's phone number is this. So a confidential informant gave up Melly's phone number. On the 13th, detective had an opportunity to interview a witness who related that while at her residence, she heard gunshots, a pause, and then another gunshot. Blank observed a tall male black subject wearing all gray clothing exit the gangway holding his right side. Blank related that as the subject was holding his right side, she saw the butt of a gun protruding from his waistband. Blank related that she then observed the subject walk eastbound into the alley, entered the passenger side of an awaiting silver Pontiac vehicle at Grand Prix of Bonneville. Related that the vehicle then went northbound into the alley and out of the sight of view. And as you can see here, DeAndre Smith was with Tierra Smothers and Melly up to and including the time of victim DeAndre Smith's death. And this is how they were able to get the search warrants signed by the judge for these records that they were requesting to pretty much tie together the locations, the text messages, the phone beacons. It has the towers that it pings off of. And these are just more of the reports that were sent to the judge for each phone that they wanted to search. They wanted the search warrant for. And as you'll see, it's for each phone. And we have more here of pretty much the narrative that took place. What I like to do is go through some of the information, even though it may look similar. Sometimes names are not redacted, like this address here. You get the full address to the gas station that they were actually located at. And yeah, it's really good to look up some of these things sometimes. But here, down below, you can see it says, my investigation further revealed that the driver of the light-colored vehicle was Tierra Smothers, and that Tierra Smothers was driving that car. Right? So they had her, pretty much dead to rights. And then she actually will make a statement against Melly about this murder when confronted. So it's pretty much it was a wrap because they had so much evidence against them physically through the voice calls to convict them of just not only murder but even conspiracy at a minimum. And so here we are. They're just registering fired cartridge cases. They're doing ballistics on the guns. They're inventorying evidence here. A lot of these documents are pretty much just inventory check-ins. Not really any substance for me to go through a lot of these, so I'll skim through these relatively quick so that we can get to the rest of the court documents. So here we are coming down on the end, and we see that the items they submitted were the gun, and that's pretty much it for this document for the part 3 of Lord Dre. Thank you.